Hello there, this is Pika10 and welcome to your 31st Roblox Lua scripting tutorial. Now first of all we're going to start with the scripting showcase. This model comes in from KDW100. Now this is a GUI. It comprises of lots of different screen GUIs which I've now put in the starter GUI. I'm going to show you exactly what it does now. So we're in the place, and now I can press reset, which is going to be pretty obvious, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start from the bottom and work up. So walk, if I'm walking here, did that slow me down slightly? I think it did slow me down slightly. If I press run, I'm going to speed up, and walk, I just slow down, run, speed up, one. There's a force field, which I can't click, but I can, it's a text, right, it's a text box, so I can type, or whatever. I don't think that's intended, but it did say force field. I can turn it on, and I can turn it off. So basically, I can turn it off. Did I turn it off? I'm not sure if I turned it off. Am I clicking off? Okay, apparently I can't seem to turn it off. I don't know why that is. Let's check in here. Force field. Off. Something appears to be happening. It seems to be changing. Oh, no, it's not. So the off seems to not work, but I'm not sure whether it's just changed the text or not. But the on definitely works at least. Delete the force field just here, but obviously we won't be able to do it in the actual game. We're going to run and reset. Kills me, leaving me and my pieces to fall to their doom. Now, I wonder why this doesn't work. Now, first of all, if this did come, each one of these came in a separate screen GUI. You do not need this. I've moved them all into one just for ease of use. I've moved them all into one screen GUI, and also what you can do is add a frame. I'm not going to go into too much detail because this is actually what our scripting tutorial today is going to be about. It's going to be about GUIs. So we're going to look in this text button. It's going to be pretty normal. This person must have done an extra research because I haven't covered any GUIs previously, so that you won't know the actual events that the GUIs are going to be used. The GUIs used, sorry. Oops, what am I just press? Press the start button. Now, I've also changed a bit of this. This previously was if game.players.localplayer.character find first child force field equals nil, and then exactly the same line again, destroy, without the find first child. Now, we don't need this. We can actually do it a separate way. My changing might actually be the reason why it didn't work, but I don't think so. If it's nil, then return ends. And if it's not destroyed, I'm not sure why that was not working. I'm not going to debug it now, but it's not too far off. It might have been my edit that changed it and just typed something wrong. If it, and then it's going to create. Nothing I can see wrong with these. And everything's working fine. As I said, the events we haven't actually covered before, so this person must have gone to the wiki and looked at them. Well done, KDW100, I think that's your name. You are going to be given 200 Robux, and that's if you have Builders Club, and you can send me a t-shirt or a shirt with 200 Robux as the price, plus whatever percentage Robux I've done. I think it's 10% at the moment, and I will buy it, therefore giving you 200 Robux. Anyone else can submit any mold, GUI, script, anything you want for the scripting showcase. Well, obviously it has to contain a script that you've learned how to script by watching the scripting tutorials. If it's featured, I pick them, sometimes at random, sometimes I pick the best one. And you will win 200 Robux if it is featured. Now, I'm not actually going to feature any minigames this time. I did receive one, I think, but I'm not going to feature that. I might save it for next time. But we have to get on with the scripting tutorial. So the scripting tutorial for today is actually going to be GUIs. GUI stands for Graphical User Interface, some people say GUI, and it's actually the thing you see on your screen. So the GUIs is, rather than the actual physical things in your game, or anything that you look at, it's going to be the, well, anything in the world. It's actually going to be this bit. This menu is a menu. This icon is a GUI. Things that stick on your screen. These are GUIs. This bit here, this bit here. Health bars on first-person shooters are GUIs. Any sort of controlled layout or displays, or heads-up displays, as people call them, HUDs, they're GUIs. So GUIs are things that basically stay on the screen. This stands for Graphical User Interface. Now, to create one, you're going to have to. Everything in a GUI must be in a screen GUI. Now I'm going to insert object screen GUI, which is right here. Screen GUIs don't actually have any properties that you want to use for yourself, but you can just do about everything in a GUI has to be in a screen GUI. And before we start, I'm just going to explain what use this GUI is going to be in here. Our shop is actually going to use a GUI rather than one of those old-fashioned physical shops where you have to walk in and click everything. It's going to use a GUI like new, modern shops, which I haven't actually been in, so I'm not actually sure whether anyone actually uses them. But the GUI is going to be on the side here. If you want to open a shop, you can click Shop, and when you click Shop, the menu is going to open. You can mouse over the items, and then a GUI will appear here, asking you what to buy, showing the cost, and it will show details about them for all the different items. As we saw, we use data processing, so all the items will save and such. So that's what our GUI is actually going to be used for. Now I'm going to go back on to actually explaining how they work. All GUIs are fine working if you just save in the workspace, except that no one can see them if they're in the workspace. The only way players can see the GUIs is if they're in their player GUI folder. Now you can do that manually with a script. You can say, well, if I only want certain players to see this GUI, you can just put a script in that copies the workspace's screen GUI into a player's player GUI. So that will be game.players. Whatever the player's name in .player GUI. That would be how you access it. Obviously, you wouldn't actually use that exact command because you'd need to know the player's name as such. The screen GUI object is in fact most of the games it's actually put into starter GUI. This is when you want it to display the entire game for everyone. It doesn't have to be the entire game. You can remove it at certain points within the starter GUI. Well, you can't remove it from the starter GUI. I'm not sure if you can actually, but you definitely can't remove. You can remove it from the player's player GUI once it's in the player GUI. You can do whatever you want. What the starter GUI does is it whenever a player respawns, it copies, not respawns, whenever the player respawns. Whenever the player respawns, it copies the GUI in the starter GUI, just like starter back, into the player's player GUI, which means the players will always have this GUI until you remove it from their player GUI, which is not often wanted for like health bars and a shop. We're not going to remove this. To create anything in the GUI, I have to put it in the starter GUI, screen GUI even, and just to insert object like normal, I'm using the old Studio, not Studio 2.0. Now, there's a number of different GUI objects you can use. The first one I'm going to cover at the moment is text button. This is going to be the display for shop. We're going to click text button and insert. Now, also an added benefit of putting it in starter GUI is that anything in starter GUI you can actually see on your screen already. Sorry I had to go for a bit then, but I've forgotten exactly what I was saying, but I remember I was saying something about starter GUI meaning that you could see it. Yes, if you put the GUI in starter GUI, then you can actually see it on your screen. For example, I can just see the TON of the button in the corner. Now you can do this, but not if it's in its workspace or already removed. So editing a GUI, you usually want to put it in starter GUI, then you can just move it anywhere else afterwards. Put it in starter GUI. Now the positioning of the GUIs, I don't want to go in too much on how to make them look good, because I'm terrible at that, and this is a scripting, not a GUI design tutorial. But I'm going to just put it in the position. The position goes from 0, which is this corner, to 1 on the y-axis, and 0 to 1 on the x-axis. Now the x-axis comes first, so wherever I want to put it on this axis up here, I can put it 0.2, and it will appear here. So 0.2 over there, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and then 1 will be up there. You can do any increment in between, so I'm actually going to put it at 0.1. Now on the y-axis, I'm also going to put it at 0.05, which will put it around there. As you can see the text, but you won't be able to click on it because there's nothing to click on. You can't really click on the text. That's because the size is set to 0. Just to increase the size, just going to change exactly the same x and y axis. Size 0.2. That will be 0.2 of the screen, which I don't want. Or it's going to be 0.1 of the screen. Now there's actually a better way of doing this, which I'm going to do now, is I'm going to click on screen GUI and insert a frame. Now frames are objects which you can use just to, well, put a frame around the object, except that anything inside it will use positioning relative to the thing above it. So you can basically just, well, by that I mean if you insert something into a frame, rather than 0 being here and 1 being here, 0 will be the beginning of the frame and 1 will be the end of the frame. So if this button was a frame, if I put something inside it, 0 would be here, 1 would be here. So if I position something at 0.5, it would appear in the middle, in sort of the center here, rather than if I didn't put it in the text button, 0.5 would be in the center of the screen. Hope that is clear. So the frame, I'm just going to position it where I want the entire menu to be. So I want the menu to sort of start here, go down here, and cross here. So the size is going to be sort of 0. It's going to be most of the. It's going to be a small portion, 0.3 there. Nope, not 3, 0.3. 3 would be 3 times up the screen, and on the y-axis 0.8. Let's put it sort of about there. Position on the x-axis 0.05 or 0.699 recurring, whatever the stupid thing Roblox uses, and on the y 0.05 again. So then I'm going to put the text button in there. I'm also going to make the frame transparent because we don't actually want this. We can just change the background transparency using this. So we can't actually see the frame. We might want to change that later, but for now we're just going to leave it transparent just so we can position this easier. So position, we're going to put this at 0, and 0 will no longer be off the 0 will no longer be off the not 1, 0. 0 will no longer be off the screen. 0, no, we don't 6. This is annoying. 0. This is why I wish someone would hurry up and make a GUI editor. I'm not sure if there already is. Now for size, this is just going to be a small button, so this is going to be 0.5. And remember, this size is also scaled off the frame, so the frame's here. So rather than 0.5 being half the screen, 0.5 is only half the frame. So 0.2 would be sort of around right for the button, and 0.2. Now, there are differences. As you can notice, there's X and X, and this is Y and Y. Now, two different. The first one is scale. Now, scale is percentage. So if you had 0.2, well, not actually percentage, it's proportion. 0.2, it would be 20% of the entire screen. 0.5, it would be 50% of the entire screen, or whatever thing. So if it's inside the frame, 50% of the frame. But there is another option, because remember, scale will stay the same. So if it's on a small screen, it will be half of a small screen, a big screen, half of a big screen. However, if you used offset, which is actually the pixel offset, this is the second option, or the second number in each of the coordinates. So that's 0, 0, 0, 0. These are actually called UDIM2s. So it's UDIM2s for how you use that. I'm not going to go into that now. That's what the position's called, rather than vector 3 for 3D positions. The second one is actually pixel offset. Now these will be the same on every single screen. So if I set 10 pixel offset, it will be 10 different on every screen. So on a small screen, 10 might seem a lot bigger than on a big screen. So half is here to here, but 50 pixels will always say half is here to there. This is 0.5 scale. 50 pixels on a small screen would be exactly the same as 50 pixels on another screen, and that is exactly how it works, which means it might get quite annoying. I prefer always to use scale, but I'm a really bad GUI designer, and it's almost certainly not what the good people use, so don't listen to me. Now I'm going to reset. Let's set this position 0.05. There we go. Now I'm going to name this button shop. Well, I'm going to name this button shop. The actual name of it. As you can see, the text hasn't changed because the text property is further down here. Shop. Now, if they click on this, the next UI to show. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to do a click command with this. Insert object. Now for GUIs, because the GUIs are going to be in the player GUI, that you can use local scripts in. So I'm going to use a local script because they're faster for so that it doesn't slow down the server whenever you use an operation. You could just slow down your computer, which is not as important because your computer's a lot faster. We're going to delete the text in there. Oops. So we're going to, what you want to do is whenever you click the shop, you want this next bit to appear. Now unfortunately we don't actually have the next GUI yet to put in, so I'm just going to show you how to do a simple text button. Well, just to show you how to do a simple click. So first of all, I'm going to click the function clicked, and then we're going to just comment it in, show the rest of the GUI end, or hide it. So first of all, or hide it if it's already shown. The event is called mouse button 1 click. Yes, that is what it's called. So we're going to go script.parent, because mouse button 1 click is in the object, which is the text button. Mouse button 1 click. It's going to follow the same as every other event. Connect, clicked. So there we go. We've made something which happens whenever it's clicked. Now you don't have to script this in yourself. Whenever you move your mouse over it when you're in the game, this will change colour, just to look like you're hovering over it. This will change colour, and then when you click it, it will be some other colour. If you want it to stop automatically changing colour whenever you hover over it and click it, because it's a button, you can just set the property, which is somewhere along here. You can also set a draggable property, which is useful. I could not remember what this property is, but there is a property, believe me. And so what we want to do is now create the rest of the GUI. So we're going to, in this frame, insert object. So now we're going to use a text. What are we going to use? We're going to use a text. We could either make it so when you click on all the options, it displays the different options. Yes, let's do it that way. So we're going to have a text button here, and we're going to name this item 1. We don't actually know what item 1 will be yet. Let's make it whatever tool we just. What tool did we? What tool did we make last time? We didn't make link trowel, that's for sure. Did we make a tool last time? I think yes, we did. What does this tool do? It made them take damage. So this tool is going to be in the. Put it. Whoops. What did I just do? Put it in the spawn location. That's not good. We're going to put it in the lighting. We're going to name it stupid, because it is a pretty stupid tool. And we're going to name this stupid just to let whoever's editing the place know that we're going to want to edit stupid. We're going to change the position. So rather, this one was position 0.2. What size was it? No, position 0 and size 0.2. So this one is just going to be made position size 0.2 as well by 0.05, and we're going to set it down 0.05 so it looks exactly there. We're going to set the text to, what was it, stupid. So this is what, when you click on the shop, this GUI will show. Actually, we should probably make this look different from the other ones, so we're going to just make it bigger on the X, on the yes, the X, and just position it slightly below. So we're going to have it 7. So now you can see that it's different. Now, as all of these shop items are going to be in a list like this, in exactly the same sort of frame, we are actually going to put it in another frame. We're going to name the frame something this time. So we're going to put the frame in the correct position. So what position do we want it? 0.07. We're going to make the size the same size as this. Well, not exactly the same size. 0.4, the same on the X. And then how big on the other one? I'm going to put it 1. It's going to be that big. Then we're going to make the background transparent. I'm going to name it items. So this is where all the items are going to be contained, because then we can put stupid in it. And then it will also have another added benefit for this script here, where we can just show all of them rather than having to enter them all in manually, which I'll explain later. So now this is also changed because we don't want that. We're going to have size 1, because size is now going to be the entire of that frame. Size is going to be 0.05, looks about right to me. We're going to leave it like that. Position is going to be 0. Oh god, I hate this GUI editing. And now we're going to, well actually we're just going to leave it. We're going to make this frame not visible. So if you make this frame not visible, everything inside it will also be not visible. So you can change this property in script very easily. So if we wanted to, with this script, which is what we're going to do, we can just make it invisible very, very easily. So if you click shop again, all we're going to do, if script.parent, which is shop.parent, which will be frame.items .visible, which is the property. Visible is a Boolean value, true or false, as you can tell by it's a checkbox when we looked at it in a properties window. Then, and now because I didn't include the check, this means if it's true, and then we want to set this to false. Actually, to save a lot of typing, I'm just going to do local items equals script.parent.parent.items, not a comma. If items.visible, then items.visible equals false, else items, whoops, what have I got typing, visible equals true, end. We don't need to include a debounce for this because this mouse button, when it clicks, only actually happens when the person's fully clicked, so that means pressed and released. So we don't need to put a debounce on it because you can't accidentally press and release it more than once. Yeah, just by meaning to do it once. So items, script.parent items, this should work. So whenever we click on that, we actually want to just tell people what it's going to do. So first of all, the text on shop is going to be text is going to be show shop. We're going to set script.parent.text. So once we've already pressed the button, we want the button next time to show, well, it depends what we've done. If this one says we've just hidden the button, so this time we've just hidden the shop. So then once we've already hidden the shop, the text we want it to be show shop. Once we've shown the shop, we want the buttons text to be hide shop. So now when we click, it's going to say show, it's going to say hide shop when it's already open. So then when the text button is invisible, you can't click it and it won't do anything. Well, the scripts inside it will run, but it won't actually do anything well, you won't be able to interact with it, so you can't click on the button once it's there. So what we're going to have with this stupid is we're going to make this visible so we can edit it for a start. And we're going to insert something else. In fact, we're going to insert another frame, which is going to be what stupid is now, except slightly bigger. This frame is going to be size 20. I'll probably design this horribly, by the way. And size is going to be 0.2. Not 0, 0.2. That'd work much better. It's going to be bigger than that, 0.5. This is where the entire thing for this this thing is going to be. So in fact, we're going to name this stupid. We're going to make this transparent, as we've done with all our frames so far. Oop. Why isn't it transparent? What did I just do? This should be transparent, I think, but whatever. Okay, now it's worked. I don't know what's happening. Position it. What position do we want it? 0 and 0. Doesn't look like 0 and 0 to me. We're going to put it at 1 and 0. What will that do? Oops. As you can see, I'm not an expert. Oops. Turn it all the way out there. What's the size? Oh, the size is managed to reset to 0 and 0 as well. Yay. I'm going to set it to 2. What have I done with this? It wants to be 2. We're going to put it at 1. Yes, it's a lot better. Oh, I put the stupid inside. Ah, that's what I did. I put the frame inside the. I think that's what I did anyway. 0.2. Nope. 1, what is that? Nope, that's a bit hard. That's 100,000, that's more than 100,000. 1. Okay, that's a lot better. Let's do it, let's leave it like that, just to avoid any more confusion. And now, check the transparency. Why is the background transparency not changing? I changed the size of this, didn't I? No, I didn't. This is the actual button. Ah. The size on the X is going to be 0. It's going to be 1, not 2. 1. 1. Size on the Y is not going to be 0.5. It's going to be 0.1. And now this stupid, whenever you click on this, it's going to show the other thing in the stupid frame, which is I'm going to have to insert another text button. No, this isn't actually going to be a text button. This is going to be a text label. Now, a text label is something which cannot be clicked and might have I think it has clicked events. Cannot be clicked. It will have hover over events and mouse leave, but you won't be able to change the text in it like the GUI in the showcase. He should have used this. This is just basically a label, something just to show you. So what we're going to have in here is we're going to make it size 1 and 1. No, we're not. We're going to have it size 1 and I have no idea why I've done this so horribly. Size is going to be 2. We're going to move it slightly this way, 0.5, oops, 0.5 this way, 1 this way, and leave it at that. And the label is just going to explain the text stupid, the stupid tool we made in the last scripting tutorial. It's not really very good. Very good, but we're going to charge you for it anyway. To make that so, we're just going to put text wrapped. You can take text scale to make it scaled with everything, so that will make it fit in that box. We don't want to do that. Instead, we're just going to change the text size using this. Where is the text size thing gone? I don't know. Font size, there we go. Too big. Now we've got back to here. We're going to move the text label. We're going to change text X alignment, Y alignment even, to the top. And now we're going to make a buy button. So we're going to put another button inside the text label. Insert, object, text button, and this is going to be, I'm going to name this button buy. And we're going to name text button, whoever text button is. No, text on it is going to be buy with a capital B, because that looks a lot better. Disagreeing with almost every shop poster out there, which doesn't use any capital letters ever. And we're just going to set the position on this to, we want it to be sort of 0.3. The Y positions are going to be more than that, 0.7. I'm going to put it in a sort of the bottom size. We're going to scale it 0.5. That should be right. We should move this further down though. 2.5. That's in the center. 0. Oops. 3. Make it look slightly better. 2.5. There we go. And now that's the buy button done. So now we've got all the GUI actually, well, not the scripts in it, but that's what we're going to do now, because there's a scripting tutorial. Now in this stupid thing, we're going to make, whenever you click on this to show. No, you don't. What's this? What's this? This is detect. This is, yeah. Okay, I was right. Yay. I'm going to rename this info. Insert another local script into this object, and inside this local script we're going to exactly the same as before. Function clicked, and when you click on it, we're going to show the info. But if we don't, if the info is already shown, then hide the info. So if local info equals script.parent.info. No, we want script.parent.parent.info because script.parent is just the button. If info.visible, if the info is visible, then make it not visible. And because we put the button inside the label, the button will also go invisible once we set this invisible. Mouse button 1 click, not mouse button 1 down, exactly the same as we did before. Clicked. So when we click on this GUI, it's going to show the label, and when we click, so first of all, everything here is going to be hidden. We're going to click show shop, and this stupid thing is going to be shown. Then when we click stupid, this is going to be shown. When we click buy, we're going to get the tool. So we're going to insert something else into this buy, and just like this. What, a text button? No, we don't have a text button. We want a local script. Insert object local script, exactly there. Now, to create this local script, we're going to need to know the name of this tool. I've put it in lighting already, that's good. Stupid. Now what did we actually do? Remember in the main script, to insert... Actually no, it was in here, wasn't it? We'll just look in here how they did it. Money is player.leader.stats of money if money.value is more than cost. So how much are we going to charge for this ridiculous item? We're going to charge... let's charge 1, so I'm actually going to be able to buy it, because I can never complete any of the damn minigames. So, just local cost equals 1. Where is this? What script is this? And now we're going to just go... clicked again. So when we're clicked, we're going to have to get the player. Now to get the player, we can either, because this, remember this is going to be in the player's player GUI, we can either go script.parent.parent.parent.parent.parent, then .parent to the player GUI, then .parent to the player, that's how you get the player, or, because we're doing a local script, we can do game.players.localPlayer, which is a lot easier. So now all we need to do is go local player game.players.localPlayer, just so we don't have to type game.players.localPlayer over and over again. If player, what do we name it? .leaderstats.money. Actually, we should do this. We should do what I did on local money equals player.leaderstats.money. If money.value, don't need to put it in a bracket, stupid C++. Money.value is bigger or equal than cost, then how did we actually do it in this one? So we need to insert it into the table like we've done here. So first of all, we're going to take it away from the money. So money.value is going to be .value. Now, I have made a fatal error in this, in that we need to insert the object into the shared items table. Now, in a local script, as I said in the last story, you can't actually use the same shared, which is the global table, as all the other scripts can. So in fact, we can't use a local script for this. We are going to have to double click on this, copy, cut, exit this, delete, don't go away, Go away. Delete this. Insert a normal script. And go here. We could do some hacky way of inserting a value and getting some other script to do it, but we can't be bothered to do all that now. So player is no longer local player because you can't use local script player outside of local script. It's going to be game. It's not going to be game. It's going to be script.parent, which is going to be by, not parent. Parent again, which is info. Parent, which is stupid. Parent, which is items. Parent, which is frame. Parent, which is screen GUI. Parent, which is player GUI. Then parent again, which is the player. I probably got that wrong, but this is stupid. But at least we've said it here. We don't have to type that along. We just need to say player. So it's only going to cost 1. If the person has 1, then we're going to subtract it from 1. Then we're going to take the item from lighting. We could put the lighting in. We could put the item in the GUI, but we don't want to have it in our game over and over again. That would just get irritating. Actually, no, let's do that, because then we don't have to change the script each time. We only have to change the cost. So we're going to actually put stupid into by. So, because now, it's rather than doing, we're going to put it actually into the script. So rather than now doing game.players, well, not game.players, game.lighting.stupid, and then changing the name for each tool, we now can just do script get children, everything inside this script, and inside the script there's only one child. Because remember, this get children returns a table, and to access items in tables, so exactly like we do with we do tab equals time. To access something in that table, we do tab 1, and if we did print tab 1, that would print hi. So exactly the same as that, get children returns a table exactly like hi. So this returns a table, which is all the children inside. So in this table, it would only have stupid in it, because I've already covered get children, but I'm just going to briefly cover it again. It would only have stupid in it. Whenever, if it was in workspace, you get children, it would have terrain, spawn location, main camera, message, part. All of them would be in get children table, but because there's only one child in it, we can simply access the first element in the table, and we'll know this element is always the tool which we want to copy all the time. No question about it, because the first element of the table is always going to be the only element of the table in there, because there's only one. Script to get children 1. We're going to clone this, and I'm going to put it into the player. Equals we're going to set it. So we put it in the player's backpack. We're going to put it into the player's backpack. So player.backpack. Now, what table was it called that we needed to insert it into? I've forgotten. Let's check inside this tool. We need to insert it into shared.items, and with the key as the player. So we're going to insert it into. Now, we also need the object as the actual thing to insert. Now, the object is going to be the original. So this is going to be original key. So in fact, we are going to do it the original way I said. Oop, I've just explained all that for nothing. It will teach you stuff anyway. Copy that, paste it back into here. Instead of doing this, we're going to just go game.lighting.stupid clone. I can't remember what the table's called again. Short-term memory for the win. Shared.items player, and we can just do it up here. Actually, let's go local object equals so that the only things we're going to have to change when we move to different scripts as in if you wanted to copy and paste this so you could have multiple items in the shop, the only items in the script we'd have to change is this, because we've already got everything else here. Put object in the shared table. Remember, if you put it in the shared table, it means when they respawn, they'll have it, or even if they leave the game and rejoin, they'll still have it. End. So, all we need to do now is add the event, mouse button, one click, connect, click, oops. And there we have it, our very own shop. Now, I'm going to test it just to see if it actually works, but first of all we need to hide all of these things. So, info needs to start off as invisible. So does this. So does this. This doesn't need to start off invisible. This does though, which makes that invisible too. If you make this visible, that will only come up. That will still come up. And this frame needs to stay visible. So then, let's see how much I've remembered to actually add in and not forgotten, because I bet I've forgotten something that shows all the other GUI items. Oh, I should have played it so we could know there was any errors. Line 9 of the buy of line 9 of the script. I can't say that. Line 9 of the script inside the buy object. There's a syntax error, so we're going to go in here, line 9, which is this line here. We need to actually set object.clone.parent is player.backpack. Otherwise that makes no sense at all. Let's try it again. Seems to be working, although I don't know whether any of the local scripts are working from there. No errors, yay! Show shop, this will be shown. Click here, this will be shown. And if we have one money, which we don't, because I need to complete this damn obstacle course, which I just died, so I can't complete it anymore. Can't bother to wait either, because I'm useless at minigames. So we still, even though I set the cost to 1, I can't be bothered to change the starting money. So let's do this. We're going to have to complete this game. Okay, come on, player 207. Complete this minigame. Why is it always this minigame? Did I said it's only this minigame? Probably. Almost there. I am always bad at these obbies. I've won. I've earned 170 money, 127 money. Yay. Show shop. Stupid. If I press buy, we're gonna be deducted one. No, we're not. Money is not a member of int value. That's because I probably typed money instead of value. So in the buy, we're going to have a look in here, which is buy script. We've done player.leaderstats.money. This is wrong because inside the leader stats there is no value called money. I can't remember what I actually named it though. Let's have a look. What other script uses it? This the stupid tool. This one here. It's got a capital M. Not this. We don't want to save that. We're going to save this and try again. I'm going to complete this. Has this been a long tutorial? Let's check the time. 44 minutes. Wow, this has been a long tutorial. Because of all the GUI faffing around. Come on, we're going to complete this. This will end the tutorial for today. Almost there. I'm boss at sword fighting and I can't do the RBR! Thank God this one doesn't kill you. Let's skip this bit. Okay, that didn't skip much of it. Ah, no! Screw this. Where's a local money equals? You want to change that? Yes, we do. We're going to start with 1 money. Go on. I'm going to complete this. Actually, we don't need to complete it. Do I start with 1 money? That was not the correct thing to load, was it? No, it wasn't. Why is this so difficult? Points that value equal money. That should change it. Why didn't that work? I have no idea. Because player adder doesn't work in single player. Screw this. I'm just going to change a different way. I shall not be beaten. Players. Leader stats. Money. Change to 1. I'm going to give myself money, because that's not cheating. Show shop. Oop, I teleported here. Stupid. Buy. I've now got the stupid tool. And if I decide to use it, which I can't because there's no one to use it on, I can jump off the edge. I can hide shop like that. If I search up again. And I still have the stupid tool. Hooray! So, as you can see, this has worked. It's been very long-winded because fiddling around the GUIs, but hopefully you've been able to follow along and not got bored in the process. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like or dislike or whatever, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And goodbye.